So where does the live video come up on here?
I don't know.
Shit.
We're live, don't swear.
Sorry.
Prime time slot.
Prime time.
Big kids watching
Where are we?
I'm trying to find it.
somewhere.
Is that what?
Oh.
Oh, you're live. Maybe you can watch it so that you can see the questions while.
I got it on here.
Yeah, give way. You're on.
Hey! There we are.
It's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, we need to see it on yours because I can't see it
On this. Oh, okay.
on his phone. Right. Hi. Can you hear what we're saying?
There's a delay.
Everyone. Hello. Hello. How are you?
Oh, it's massively delayed.
Yes.
They can hear us, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to find the YouTube one, which I can't
You
find.
can hear us. Cool. Oh, there we go. I got us. It's very, very delayed. Okay. All right. So, where did we finish last time? In the dark out the front.
In the
on
dark
the lawn.
out the front, yeah.
Getting bitten by mozzies. So we're in the shed now because it's raining outside and it's dark outside.
Scorpions.
What else is happening? Maybe you want to just check my phone and make sure it's actually doing live for the YouTube.
Down in front.
So,
Yeah, there's 5 people watching on YouTube.
oh, you beauty, good on you. You're legends.
Back, baby.
We're back. What do we have? Oh, one leftover question from last time. Will was saying about zoysia needing 1 kilo of actual nitrogen for a growing season. The question was, if you're in Queensland, your growing season's longer, but if you're in Victoria, your growing season's a lot less. And the answer to that is, no, you wouldn't use a kilo of actual nitrogen, you would use less.
Correct. Yeah, because you just got less temperature for the turf to grow, so less growth potential. So the turf doesn't need as much nutrition.
So you would split the kilo up over 12 months.
Yep.
And so divide it by 12, that 1 kilo.
Yep.
And you could even go weekly.
Yep.
Or, so monthly. So if your growing season is 9 months, you would use not 9/12ths of a kilo.
Yep. So 750 grams.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if your growing season is 6 months, you would use 500 grams.
Yep.
Sweet.
We're on. I've got the live stream from YouTube happening now.
Hey!
So if you're on there, you can actually post your questions and we'll answer them from YouTube too.
Beauty. So we're trying to cover all bases. We're really not technological at all, and we are
Just talking
struggling,
about lawns.
but we're just having a go.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else do we have? Oh, merch. We've got a merch shop. We had questions about merch. We have got bucket hats, and they're awesome because they're adjustable in the back. So if you've got a massive melon,
Or if you've got kids.
if you get kids, you can make them big and small. So we've got bucket hats. What else have we got?
We've got these hats.
Oh, the best hats in the world,
Yeah.
like Flex Fits hats are the best in the world.
What up?
And tonight we're going to give away one of the very rare Make Aussie Lawns Great Again hats. And I think I just belted my head on the microphone, so sorry about that. So one of the Malga hats for the best question asked tonight. What else have we got? Coolers, so if you're a drinking person, water,
And
cordial, orange lemonade.
Mother's Day is coming up, believe it or not.
Mother's Day's coming up.
Yes.
Get your mama pink cooler.
Yeah, your mum, your partner, anything. So there's
So we
pink
got
coolers.
they
got
hold the
everything.
normal can bottle.
Yep.
Also
King
got the big
Browns.
ones, the King Browns. If you're a tally drinker, or if you like a 1 litre Gatorade or a 1 litre Maximus,
Or if you like
these will
orange
fit through.
lemonade.
Or if you're an
Orange
orange lemonade connoisseur like myself,
The original and the
that's
best.
mine.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
I got mine from over there.
no, that's mine.
Liquid
Oh,
gold.
There's
See,
one there.
Get
Look
out
how
of it.
protective
And
of
there's
orange
backwash
lemonade.
lemonade.
Oh, yeah, you bloody criminal. It's my drink.
That's alright. It's sweet. It's doubled up.
Oh, we got COVID. We're
Alright, I'll
sharing
sit
our
that
COVID.
back down there.
So, yeah, we got coolers, we got key rings, we've got, what else have we got? Fence plaques, so you can,
Fence
like a
plaques.
stainless steel fence plaque, so you can,
Stickers.
stickers,
And
it's getting cold,
winter
winter's
is
coming
coming.
on. So we've got the beanies, so we've got This one's called the catcher because it's bigger. This is the mulch plug. All right. So get onto the merch shop. AustralianLawnFanatics.com.au. It's in there somewhere. The website's ordinary because I just don't know how to fix it, but we'll get there.
Bob, sort it.
Bob's a parlour.
Bob,
Sort it out.
Sort it out, mate.
Right. So, the questions from the week. So, one of them was about a tropical island and me being naked, and that's just not a picture no one needs. So, we modified the question a little bit. So, if you would take 3 things to a tropical island, one has to be a lawn product, one a comfort item, and we won't say what we did. And one is an album to listen to.
Yeah.
Right. So, what lawn product would you take?
The lawn product I would take.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know with the lawn one. I've got the other 2 sorted. With the lawn one, I think it'd just be a mower to look at.
A mower to look at.
So I could have a mower there if I really wanted to mow something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd go a brush cutter
Yeah.
with a blade brush cutter because I reckon that'd come in handy.
Maybe a chainsaw. Does that count?
No.
Plywood.
No.
Yeah. I'm sticking with the mower.
What counts?
This could be something you use on a lawn, like whether it's a chemical product or something you would use to mow the lawn.
Here we go.
Oh,
There we go.
I'd probably. Can I take a water tank, like a big water tank, put it up on the hill, and just not even use a pump, just run
It's
it off
gravity feed.
gravity feed? Because there's goats on the island,
Yeah.
so the goats will be weeing and pooing. So I'll be a mad bastard and capture their wee, and use that for liquid
Use the
fertilizer,
nitrogen.
and use the poo for
See? Told you.
granular
And Renee
fertilizer.
says no thanks on the cooler gibbo.
Damn it.
Right. Hey, Anthony. There you go. Right. A comfort item.
I think it'd be a pillow, wouldn't it? The comfort item for me, I think a pillow, just so you could sleep if you needed to.
I'm going to say a tent.
I'm used to being
some
in the
sort of-
doghouse.
Some sort of cover. I don't know. Yeah. A swag. Yeah, a swag.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd go a big clear plastic cover because then I could trap
Oh,
water.
there we go.
But also it'd be like a bit of a greenhouse thing, so you sleep under it at night as well. So it's like a bit of a combo action.
Okay. One album that you would take.
We've already discussed this. I'm taking Pendulum. That's the album with the Island Part 1 and Part 2, just for the moments.
Right, I'm taking 10,000 Days from Tool.
I'm taking the Chili's Californication.
Yeah, sweet.
You
Alright.
said So Fresh 2007 before. you changed your
No,
mind.
no,
You changed your
I'm
mind. You wussed out, mate.
Okay, so a serious question. New turf prep, where do people go wrong? Look, my opinion is they don't add enough into their initial planning. The planning is where they go wrong, I think, and that is simple things like irrigation.
Yep.
And getting your soil bed correct.
I did all of the right things, underestimated the irrigation side. I was like, I'll be right. Didn't really have the money. Thought that the turf was the number one thing that was going to cost me money.
Yeah.
Should have put irrigation in. Hand watering 400 squares is annoying.
Yeah.
Should have just gone the irrigation, made it so much easier for myself.
We were thinking about it. I was thinking about it before.
Because you're doing new turf.
I'm going through this
Currently doing
process
it.
right now. So, like, exactly the planning stage. And for me, I can only do it weekends, so I've planned out like weekend to weekend. Soil prep is ideal, and like if you get a big enough volume, you can get supply the spec of the soil. So that's probably a key.
Yep.
Like the underpinning thing is the soil. Water's the other big key, so irrigation's super important. Even like your edging, like what kind of edging you use and what kind of edger you're going to use, follow up on that edging.
Yeah.
So like think about your shade as well, like how you want to delineate shade using garden beds and things.
Yep.
And that will all influence your turf choice. Because if you think you don't have enough sun, you probably can't go a cooch or something. But to be honest, like when you look at it in terms of cost, everyone thinks that the actual turf or the sod is the most expensive thing.
Yeah.
Well, I actually think it's only probably 20-25% of the variable cost of actually doing a lawn.
Yeah.
The rest is you know, hiring all the machines, doing all the soil prep, all the soil.
I think soil prep is really
Underestimated.
underestimated.
Yep.
Staminate.
What did they spill staminate?
Oh,
It's
good.
rare. Orange staminate is so rare these days.
I'm just watching that happen.
Where is Henstein?
It is. You don't make it anymore. What I've got in the cupboard, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Oh,
That
yeah.
is-
So
You
you
hear
didn't
that?
spill it.
That was like $20 worth of staminate.
Oh, I So yeah, the soil prep, serious. That's the big thing for me is soil prep. And people say, "Oh, I scraped it off, and then I'll bring in 100 mil." 100 mil is going to compact down to about 50 over time.
Yeah. It's a bulking factor.
So what's underneath that 50 mil? That's pretty important too. So
Lenny worries about that with his core tips. What is under this?
what's under that?
Well, I think also the way that the soil prep's done as well, like a lot of people just prep and they compact and then they bring the soil in, and you kind of have this false layering. So like there's no integration of the new soil with existing site soil.
Yeah.
So really,
Rotary hoe.
a small portion of pay is actually a pre-soil test of your site.
Yep.
To work out what kind of soil would marry in well and change
Agreed.
the characteristics, whether it be drainage or organic matter or nutrition. You can work that out before you even buy your soil, and it's a cheap price to pay. It's what, 130, 140 bucks or something.
Yeah.
The soil test.
Yeah. Hey, Dennis Scott, former Bronco.
Okay.
There is a SunTrack app that you can get, but it's like $100. It's expensive. But yes, you can get apps that show you where you're standing in someone's yard, where the SunTrack is going to be at different times of the year.
Yeah.
But it's very expensive.
The other thing I'd just employ everyone to do, if you split it into like 4 seasons of the year roughly, and you went middle of each season.
Yeah.
So you went like January, you went again in April, you went again in July, and then again in October. And you just took photos of the 4 sides of your house, whether it be north, south, east and west, where your turf is. You'll have an idea of where the shadows get cast by all the trees and stuff.
I know that because the turf doesn't grow.
And if you did it on a weekend, so you went out in the morning, got a photo in the morning, maybe 2 or 3 times a day, morning, middle of the day, and end of the day. But generally what you find is most of the sunlight requirement of turf grass is delivered between the hours of 11 till 2 p.m. anyway.
Yeah.
So if you're getting those hours, it's probably about 75% of your sunlight requirement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So we got to think if Will tends to get a bit too technical and a bit long in the tooth and keeps talking, we're going to let him know. So we got the.
We got it. Wally gets cut off with the horn. The dogs.
The dogs have gone bananas upstairs. How do you stop mushrooms? You get a 9-9.
Pretty much.
That's me.
I think we've seen a heap of photos pop up. It's definitely environmental, but it's also, like we mentioned soil prep before. It's to do with like the organic matter you're putting in and the compost that's in that soil as well. But generally, it's just a natural process.
They come up in the morning and dead by lunchtime.
If it's not too environment related, and you can actually see the shape of the mushrooms in fairy rings, for example, there are fungicides you can use to treat them. There's plenty of registered ones out there. Some are better than others, but I'd employ we have Michelle part of the group. If you're entirely unsure and you see that it's starting to affect your lawn, she can run disease ID and analysis for you.
Yep. And look, the price for that is $120, and that is the best value you will get. If you've just spent 2 or 3 grand on a new lawn and you've got fungal issues, it's the best $120 you'll ever spend to find out exactly what it is that's attacking your lawn, so you can buy the right fungicide to deal with it.
Not everyone has Wally's phone number like us.
Yeah.
And there's negative side effects.
There is.
Of just broad spectrum spraying fungicides. You know, even if you read some of the labelling, some of them have growth regulatory effects and whatnot. Some of them have setback effects. So don't just go out there and spray fungicide. Get the right answer.
Yep. Get the right stuff. Because ultimately, you could be like trying to treat cancer with a band-aid, you know, or something like similar like that. So, next question would be from Tyrone, asking about a golf green for winter for his young bloke. What should he be doing to get it good or ready for winter? Look at your nutrition now. before it starts to slow down. Or
Agreed.
you think, remember, you're in Caloundra, so you're not going to go dormant like
The
they will
junior
down
estates,
south.
Yeah.
You will still get some slow growth.
Yeah.
Um,
I lived in Caloundra for 14 years.
Did you?
Doesn't actually have a cool season.
Yeah. But so we're southeast Queensland, so we don't. If you look at the temperatures, we don't really drop below dormancy for
six
one
weeks
season.
No.
Cutting heights do affect like growth rate. Like if you're cutting lower, it's going to be more stress that time of year. So real basic thing is raise your cut of height. Nutrition.
But also, longer leaf, more sun penetration, healthier.
Yep, and there's tons of people in the group that, and we know the effect that seaweed has on stress tolerance. It's got big effects on cool tolerance. You know, you talk about seaweed secrets. That's something that you can look at applying into that winter period.
Yeah.
Nutrition, Lenny mentioned, it's looking at more potassium-based fertilizers and also like leaf hardening, so things like iron, magnesium, like those kinds of things that really darken the leaf coming into winter.
It's the K in your NPK.
Yeah.
The K stuff is important in winter.
And now, because over the next few weeks, control release.
Right, so not so serious. Gibbo, apart from lawns, what else do you do to kill time?
Well, I work in construction.
Yeah.
So renovating my house is one thing. Renee chooses the ideas, I build it. I go to a lot of live music events.
Renee just said that you do nothing and she does
Oh,
all the
of
work.
course, yes. We expect that.
Yeah.
I'm on maternity leave. Yeah, I get it.
Okay, yeah.
Live music, golf, and going to sport matches. That's pretty much. Now that we can do it again,
Yeah.
I'm making the most of it.
How good's that?
Yeah.
Me, I like to watch my beloved Queensland Reds play. And they're doing very well at the moment.
Aren't they just?
What else do I like to do? I like to play a little bit of golf. I'm really bad at it, really bad at it, but I do enjoy it.
He's got big levers, big long levers.
What else do I like to do? When I'm not doing my lawn or someone else's lawn,
I go to the golf club and mow
I'll go to the golf club and mow lawns.
Proper fanatic.
Good.
Hang out with the fam. I love going away in the caravan.
Correct.
Love going away in the caravan.
Camping also for
Great,
me.
yeah.
Now I've got a caravan. It's the best.
The caravan and the Reds.
Yeah.
Let's say that. That's
Caravan and Reds.
Caravan and Reds.
I mean,
Big Drum 7 on YouTube. Are the clubs big enough for Lenny? We had this conversation the other night. If you could see Lenny's 3-wood and the size of the shaft in it,
My 3-wood.
it comes up to my shoulders. Like this is the proportion's not right. That's
My
Like
3-wood has got a driver shaft in it that's 2 inches oversized.
Yeah.
So it's just enormous. It's ridiculous.
I have to cut my driver shaft down. So yeah. Anyway, we're not going to talk about how big Lenny is compared to me. But
Hey, Jeff Tinker. Hey, the golf. How you going, mate? Yeah, good on you.
neck level.
Next level.
Oh, yeah, good fun. But I work at a par 3 golf course at the moment, so it's like, it's a pitch and weeds and a putt, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all you need. Just
I'm
the
not
top.
very good at that.
No.
Yeah. You're right.
You lost 5 with the balls that we took last time.
Definitely not my pastime. I don't think I love golf. Like I love sport. Just absolutely froth on sport.
Yeah.
But believe
Mad
it or not,
Tigers fan, unfortunately.
AFL Tigers.
yeah,
Tigers.
Bronx in the NRL. Reds. Absolutely love the Reds.
I'm
But
a West Tigers man.
My, I'll hang out with my fam. So my wife, my young fella Archie, and we've got another one on the way. But the main sport that I absolutely adore, believe it or not, is skateboarding. Absolutely love skateboarding. Froth on skateboarding. It's just something completely left of field, different. You used to do it all through uni. Clears your head.
Because there's no turf involved.
It
There's
hurts too
zero
much.
turf. It's concrete.
Dude, I don't like pain, so I don't skateboard because I suck at it.
Well, if
I've
you
got a
look,
skateboard.
Yeah, I suck.
It's
You know that.
enormous. You've seen my skateboard.
yeah,
It's
it's
enormous.
gigantic. If you look at my legs, I've just got scars all up my legs from a million
I've
kickflips.
never looked at you in that way.
First time I've seen you with that long pants on.
Yeah. All right. So next question: the pros and cons of common green couch.
It's easy to deal with.
Pros, yeah, it's pretty
Hardy.
hardy. It'll grow anywhere almost.
It's versatile.
Versatile.
It's drought tolerant. It's relatively cold tolerant for what we need in Australia.
Yep.
Most
It's
of the chemicals
pretty
don't kill
low
it.
nutrient use because it's got rhizome, so it recovers well.
Yep.
And pretty much all the chemicals and the history of chemicals coming through time suit green cooch because that's
They're all developed. Along green
with that in
couch.
mind because it was one of the bigger grasses in the States.
Johnny Lush is jealous he didn't get an invite. Next time,
Next
John.
time, Jay Lush,
you can come hang
there's
out.
room on the couch here for you, buddy.
Oh,
Yeah.
we could probably fit a fair few. I
Yeah,
reckon.
we could
There's
stack 'em
another,
in.
yeah, we're stacking in. There's another lounge over there too.
We just need on tap beer, to be honest.
We've actually had to set the iPad up
The kegerator would be good.
we should
halfway
get
down the garage
actually-
on milk crates.
one of the local breweries actually had. I'm not going to give them a shout out, but they actually had the Greenkeeper. It was like a beer
Yeah.
that it was a watermelon goes froth. It was like a sprinkler with like a bloke standing watching
was
the
good.
sprinkler. It was
Yeah.
good.
So the cons of common green cooch would be it doesn't get as dense or as tight
Correct.
as your hybrids or like a
Yeah.
even Queensland Blue gets a lot more dense
Yeah.
in the sward.
I don't want to get too technical because I would get buzzed. No, but a real basic thing to do is just look at the runner or the stole, and you can tell kind of the difference by the space
Distance
between the
between the
nodes.
Yeah.
You know, generally a common or like a standard will have a large distance,
Yeah.
and a hybrid will have a really tight distance,
Yeah.
and then triple dwarf like a greens grass will be, you know,
Or if you're using PGR, it tightens it up.
yeah, it tightens it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's probably more cons than more pros than cons, I'd say, for green
Yeah.
pitch in Australia.
So that's pretty much most of the questions that we had from the post that we did. There was one from Emma about changing the mower blades. Tip number 1, take the spark plug lead off. That's safety. That's a isolation thing. If there is no chance the mower, it's a very small chance the motor might start if you're messing around with it underneath.
You don't want to take that risk.
But
You simply
if
don't.
you take the plug lead off, there is 0 chance that the mower might start. So just remove that risk altogether. Anytime you work on your mower, even with battery mowers, they've got a little red.
Yes,
My battery
I saw
mower's
that.
got a red key in it that you can pull the key out or take the batteries out, remove the chance of it starting. But most mower shops, they're probably pretty busy at the moment, but they might charge it 20, 30, 40 bucks to change a set of mower blades. So.
To be honest, the easiest way to change it is a rattle gun.
That's
Just
right.
quietly.
Just be careful you don't over ugga-dugger it.
Yeah.
Too many ugga
Too many
duggers.
ugga-duggers in
Yeah.
there for a new mower.
But that is definitely,
But it is a worthwhile process, right?
Yeah.
People, I see some of the states of the mower blades, people are like,
Oh,
oh, should I sharpen these to the angle grind again? You're like, mate,
Mate,
just
like-
change them.
Mower
Seriously,
blade-
please. They're
they're like
15 bucks.
Repair
Sort
mower
it.
blades.
domestic mower blades aren't supposed to be sharpened.
Correct.
They're supposed to be thrown out and replaced.
We did that
Mower
video
blades-
with
We
Ben.
did that
with that
video at
Bushranger.
Bushranger,
Mm.
GA Spares in there. And they said like they do 90% of swing back mower blades in Australia. They make
Yep.
in Brisbane.
Yep.
You don't sharpen them. You don't need to sharpen them.
Yep.
And
It
as
is
soon
being
as-
propelled that fast.
Yeah.
It's really anything it touches, it's going to cut
there's,
it.
there's an Australian standard
Correct.
that has to hit an immovable object 3 times at a specific speed and have no metal come off it to pass.
Yep.
The Australian standard.
And if it's sharpened with an angle grinder, you're taking away that tolerance.
Well, it's also the squareness usually, as it wears, the wearing edge usually comes back, and it gets to a point where you're taking a risk with how much metal is left to the structural integrity of that blade. So if you happen to hit a rock or whatever,
And also, you're taking away the lift that sucks it back into your catcher.
Yeah.
So just
I'd
just
probably
replace them
look at
often.
There's some
Same.
really basic ones, like you might find that if you top dress, you probably have to replace them like pretty much straight after that growing phase.
Yeah.
Because the sand is just so abrasive.
Yeah.
And so there's one replacement. So you have new ones at the start of Reno,
to scalp.
new ones at the end of
Do
Reno.
yourself a favour and put new blades on to scalp the lawn.
And
You'll
then
just save
It will
so
make
much
you
work
so
away.
much easier.
Bring it through the growing.
Yeah.
New ones again.
Yeah.
Take you through like that summer season, and then new ones coming into winter, which will take you through to probably spring, or maybe you get so
Agreed.
quite 3 to 4 pairs a year or sets a year.
Yeah.
I'd say as a
Well,
base.
I mean, I do lawn stuff for a living, and scalping a lawn, I've got 2 rotaries that I use.
And the scalp pig.
And the scalp
And
pig,
the scalp
which
pig.
is sitting outside in the rain because there's not enough room in the shed at the moment. Or even Morag sitting out in the rain
I
because there's not
know.
enough room in the
I
shed.
saw that.
But anyway,
Hey, baby.
I reckon I average a set of mower blades a week.
Yeah.
During scalping season.
You talk to the bolos, they have like just a bed knife every week they go through when they come out of reno.
Yep.
And they're changing that regularly. You got to keep them sharp.
We still need the best question winner to win this hat, to be honest. We need some more questions. Whoever has the best question, let's
Win the
go.
Malga hat.
Here we go. Is this week too wet to put down pre-emergent?
In Brisbane.
Johnny Lush,
Yeah.
Geelong. Certainly is, my
Oh.
friend. Oh.
For me, it's that
no.
being in control of the lawn environment.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like you're being the overruler of what inputs go into your lawn. So if you can't control how much water's going to fall, you might not have enough, or you might have too much.
Not too much.
I think the thing is, like, just read the label. It says put it down and apply, what is it, 6 to 12 mil or some of them? Like, it's specified on the label. If you had more
We've
rainfall
had double
than
that today.
and then you're expecting more rainfall than that, it's a clear answer of not to put it down.
Great question though, Jay Lush. Thanks for letting the population know.
Lush like name, lush
Uh,
like nature.
Who ate the most nachos? Gibbo.
Can you tell? Let's be honest. We got the oversowing question to go over.
Oh, yeah.
This is
How many
people.
weeks do we have in Queensland at top dress before winter? Ideally, you want your lawn, so like just for Brisbane, I always think you need to be recovered from anything you do by Anzac Day. So I've got a job with the council next week, I think. Yep, next week, to do 18 cubes, and that's on an Anzac park. So they want it recovered before Anzac Day. So that's the timing they want.
Yeah.
So you probably get 2 weeks.
This will be a good growing temperature. If your night temperatures are still kind of above 15 degrees, 16 degrees,
It's still
Yeah.
gonna get
then
rough.
you're still okay, but you've got to look ahead. So you've got to give yourself about 6 weeks of recovery from when you do it. So if you look
Yeah.
6 weeks ahead, you've still got those 15-degree night temperatures.
Yeah.
Happy days on
Yeah.
warm season.
Craig G is asking about PGR on Sapphire Buff. Do it.
Yeah, do it. Why not?
Was it PGR on?
Sapphire.
Sapphire.
Why not?
Yeah.
Well,
I think you'll find at the label rates, I think they're higher.
What's that back a bit?
You'll find I can't remember them off the top of my head, and it's obviously brand specific, but listed on the label, you'll find that like what people say is worthy PGR rate for a cooch will be totally different to a buffalo, and we were talking
Yeah.
about this before.
about the whole different animal I've got going on. in my
Gibbo's got
backyard.
Aussie Blue, which is just a beast in itself, particularly in this region. Its just growth rate is just unparalleled.
Insane. Yeah.
And so, like, the rates of primo you're looking at are probably conventionally higher than what you'd normally go at. So,
Yeah.
that may be a consideration.
I still do PGR in winter at like 10 mils per 100, and it's still
Jeez.
mowing.
What are you nuts?
It's Aussie Blue, mate.
It's on.
Yeah, that's true. So Benny Cameron, ryegrass overseeding.
Hey Benny.
Pros and cons.
Woo!
Pros. What's the good things about it? Your lawn's gonna look awesome.
How much do you like your lawn to look like Simon Rice's?
Yeah. The old Chevron Renaissance. Hey, old Rossi.
What is it? What were they?
The old 16, Sweet 16 party.
Yeah,
on
the
the
Victor Ray
stripes.
burnout lines down there.
Yeah, well, I called that the drunk walk home the other day. The wavy ones. That's
Well, I
me
think
walking home from
that's
the
the
pub.
biggest pro is like, it's so
It looks
easy to
phenomenal.
stripe.
So good.
Because you've got such a vertical leaf, it bends real easy.
Yeah.
So like even with one of those little light battery reel mowers, you'll get stripes in rye
Yeah.
like that.
You
You'll
can
get
just drag your foot, then you'll get striped.
you'll get stripes if you're the flap on the back of
It's
your
like when
mower.
people vacuum their carpet, right? And they
Yeah.
get the stripes. It's that easy.
So that's the biggest pro. Other pros, if you're gonna have usage, so like it's mostly done on sports fields where you know you've got winter sport, and so you need cover. If you have, there's there's a heap amount of research that points towards if you have bare ground, it's obvious. If you have bare ground, you get more non-contact related injuries like ACLs and stuff. And so the key is keeping cover through that whole winter period. And so ryegrass makes sense because it's active. On a home lawn, there's probably more cons than there are pros, I will say.
Yeah, I agree. And depending on where you are in Australia.
Yeah. There's a couple of things. You've kind of we mentioned you have to do stuff before Anzac Day.
Yeah.
With rye, you probably actually kind of do a light renovation quite late into the season for a warm season to actually get the rye into the sward. And that sets your cooch back. You'll probably put a growth regulator down, which also sets your cooch back. And then you're putting a grass down that's going to grow up and shadow the cooch, compete it for that whole winter period and even into that early spring period. That sets the cooch back. And what you'll find is, and I've seen in research, successive years of oversowing rye, you'll actually decrease your Bermuda grass cover coming through, but also in the summer period, it actually takes you longer to get it back. So there's the biggest con kind of thing, and obviously the other considerations like herbicides to spring.
Getting rid of it in spring.
When you want to do your spring reno.
Because really the only one we've kind of got available to us is something like Monument, which is what's that, $200 for 100 mils.
Yeah.
Something like that.
There's probably a couple of cheeky ones like what was it? What were you giving away this week? Wintergrass killer.
Yep.
They sell it in Bunnings.
Yeah.
Don't
use that on ryegrass.
Don't use that on ryegrass. I don't know what that means.
That's like that's $30 for a hose pack.
But that's debatable though, because you look at the efficacy of that. It's generally a less established plant, and at the end of that spring season, you've got a really tilled.
Oh, it's good to drink.
You got a really tilled kind of ryegrass plant, so like quite a bunch plant. So you probably want a really good contact herbicide hit of it early. Otherwise, some of the gurus like Melcorp take it out just with temperature and cutting height and moisture stress. But you got to know what you're doing.
Yeah. And
you got to have the right cultivar of green cooch to handle that.
So for my lawn, I am going to oversow.
I was 2 seconds from that.
So
Wally nearly got himself.
So I have to go to Victoria this weekend. So next week I am pummeling it with Primo. I'm going to do a PGR app. I'm then going to scalp it. I'm then going to verticut it. I'm going to do my ryegrass oversow. And come spring, I'm going to glyphosate the lot.
What are you going with? You don't know yet?
It's going to be Zoysia.
Ooh! Ooh!
Yeah.
We're on.
Because I don't.
Trader!
I don't have the time to mow 3 times a week.
We've got to keep some plugs of that though. We've got to keep the dream alive.
We keep the dream
Yeah.
alive.
We can
Zoysia, the big dog.
Yeah.
We're on.
Zoysia.
Well, you know what? As much as I said there's all these cons, I'm probably going to do it on Queensland Blue Cooch because I'm mad.
Oh, you are mad.
I'm mad.
I've got a good comment here from Big Drum 7. Sounds like oversowing rye is like having the mother-in-law staying over.
Yes.
Well done, my friend. Well done. I like it. Yeah. Not going any further than that because we've all got them and we can get in trouble.
So Justin Fraser must have got here late because he said, "What do you do? What would be the ideal cut there?" And then material to suit and fill. I suppose the material you use would be, you could, if you got a big enough lawn, you customise it to what would suit your type of lawn that you're putting in. So if I'm going to put in Zoysia, I need a really sandy profile because Zoysia is from coastal areas in Asia, so it really appreciates having sandy roots. So that's what I would do.
I think also like the depth of fill is totally related to the type of fill you use. So like, I don't want to get too geeky and get buzzed off, but it comes down to like the way the particle sizes sit together, and then the way that the capillary rise of water through the soil.
I'm just warming
I'm getting scared.
Warming it up.
No. So like, you have to go deeper if it's a finer sand, and less deep if it's a more coarse sand. And then once you go to a heavier soil, it's more and more shallow, so to speak.
If you could be any grass, what grass would you be and why?
Oh wow.
Oh, green coos, because they're just the ultimate survivor.
I was going to say paspalum because I'm really annoying.
I reckon it's probably like easy to like assimilate them to like, you love the reds, right? So you can assimilate them to like forwards and backs. like I've always been a back. I've been that. I would probably be a bloody show pony. Like
3 to 8.
That or like a Queensland blue coach.
Latitude
Can't really
36.
Always get disease.
Yeah.
Finicky, you know.
Yeah.
Finicky.
Yeah. Always
So,
injured.
the forwards would be common green cooch or kaiku.
Yeah.
Just don't give up.
Yeah.
Or Sir Walter, mate.
Yeah.
Just up the
Yeah.
guts.
Not
Like,
the
just-
guts. Big one up the guts.
Really big and soft and squishy.
It's probably like the Matt Dunning of.
Yes. Yeah.
Bob, if I have an event tomorrow, what can I do to make my weed patch look like a bowling green for it? Get yourself some turf pigment.
Hey Bob, just order 5 cubes of sand and let everyone else spread it.
5? It was 9.
Yeah, turf pigment's probably the one, and a bit of iron with it as well.
I used to. I haven't got any turf pigment because I don't cheat. Somebody else does.
Yeah, I did. I had to. Sorry.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't surprise.
Trailer.
Like we saw the photos come through the week of like the Players Championship. Like a lot of that's nutrition related. Also, cool season grass stripes well, but they would have used a heap of pigment without a
Tons.
doubt. You know, you actually see it staining the balls and stuff.
If you go to one of those golf courses a couple of weeks after the PGA's gone through, the grass is strongly bad because it's
Yeah.
flogged. They just further to the point where they almost kill it.
Yeah.
Will Lawn Fest 2021 go ahead?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
That's all we're going to say right now. You can
Um,
see our eyes light up, and we're not going any further with that.
Is there such a thing as giving your lawn too much attention that things can go downhill in reverse? Good question.
Exactly that.
Good
That's
question.
exactly what we just said.
Too much fertilizer. You need to keep almost like a journal, or keep an eye on how much fertilizer you use and when, because you can overfeed it.
Well, there's you got to look at everything's got a requirement, and there's like an equilibrium. You give it too much fert, you're probably gonna foster like a weed that needs high nutrition, or you compact it, you foster things like wiregrass. So there's all these like things going on in your lawn that are happening all the time.
Correct.
That are totally related to what's going on nutritionally, moisture-wise, compaction, the type of mower you use, all that kind of stuff. It's all to do with the cultural controls are affecting that species composition of your lawn.
Exactly. With all the rain around in SEQ, John Acox, what a legend.
Hey,
He's
mate.
back, baby.
Hey,
We need more.
We need some-
What was the page he had?
the year of beer.
Year of beer. How good's the year of beer?
Jono, he's still back on that train.
He's not having a haircut this year, I think.
Yeah.
So it's the year of zero
He
haircuts.
went for the year of beer to not having a haircut this
He
year.
greased his beard for a year and then shaved that off.
Well, I was trying to grow
He's a
beard.
legend. Like, he's such a cool guy.
Yeah. But in relation to your lawn being super soft, with the Mount Everest out the back of your house, letting water run down to your backyard, John O'Cox, when we renovated his lawn, he's just got like this
Oh,
back thing that it's like Niagara Falls coming down the back.
There's not much you can do, mate.
drainage, and more drainage.
Yeah,
So-
so now's the time where you see where water is running, that you plan for drainage to go in, so that next
During
time
winter.
it hoses down.
Mm.
Winter's a good time to do drainage, and it's a good time to do irrigation because you're not
It's
digging
dry.
a ditch in the you're not sun.
Yeah, it's nice and cool.
How's
as well.
rye go with pre-emergent? Not good.
Not great.
Yeah, so if you are going to go rye over sowing, obviously plan how you do your pre-emergence.
Maybe don't do a pre-emergent.
Yeah, well, for this period. If you've done one in spring, you're probably okay. It's
Yeah.
pretty good by then.
Kevy Burness, there you go, brother.
I'll play a doctor.
Geez, Dennis, I'm going to start charging you $50 a question soon. You're pumpins. When is there a live cast from my place in Ashgrove and then footy on the big screen after? Bring my mower.
Dennis, you bring the beers, we'll bring the laptops and the film studio. I say that's a good idea.
I've already had my mower at your place. You loved it.
Yeah.
And I nearly had to fight him to take it home.
I tried to sell your mower, I think, on Wednesday. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Justin was late.
Surely Reds will win.
He loves grass. Most underrated variety and underrated variety of couch grass.
Oh, we're on.
Here we go.
We're back, baby.
I'm just gonna stop him straight away
Look at
before he
the-
can stop.
Look at them behind you.
Yeah.
So that's a great question, Greg. And I know you're asking this because you're staring and you want me to answer this.
Yeah.
Matty Roach Australian Sports Turf Consultants.
He's a guy who does turf finder.
Turf Finder.
He knows everything.
And if you go on Turf Finder and you hit the drop down arrow Bermuda grass or couch grass, you can actually see how many cultivars of couch grass there is.
Yeah.
And there's not just like 3 or 4, there's like 34 or however many there are. But probably like the best litmus test at the moment, there's probably 2 trials going on in the country in Australia at the moment. I think the ASTMA are doing it, so the Australian Sports Turf Managers Association down in Victoria. And then there's a trial at QSAC, so Queensland Sport and Athletics Centre that Matty Oliver's running.
Old ANZ.
And if we just listed the cultivars in there as an example, so there's 8 couch grasses in there.
Yep.
9, sorry. So there's just wintergreen, so the original wintergreen, which not a lot of us have actually seen. It's actually very fine. It actually looks like a hybrid couch. And it is a hybrid green couch, like common green couch.
Yep.
There's reselected wintergreen, which is like a wintergreen taken out of the original wintergreen. There is Legend, which is on Suncorp.
I'm right here.
There is there is AgriDark.
Well, I've got a question here about AgriDark while we're on it. How much shade can it handle throughout the day? That's a question.
Only as much as the couch can handle. You're lucky if
Sorry to just change away from that, but I
yeah,
thought
well,
we'd knock it out while
if
we're
you're over about half a day's worth of shade, and that shade's like during the middle of the day, it'll probably struggle.
Yeah.
And we saw last week or on Saturday, you know, Michelle and Lenny over Lenny's lawn, dollar spot. Everyone knows, but the main reason that it's probably got dollar spot is because of the shade.
Because it's in morning shade. It gets after, like, I guess more than half a day's sun, but it's not until the second half of the day, and it's too wet for too long.
It takes a month of Sundays to dry out. So yeah, Legend, AgriDark, Santarena. What else do we have in there? What's interesting that's not in there? Tahoma 31, Tiff Tough, and I think that's it. So there's your A, and then there's a couple that aren't in there that were like old stayers back in the day, Oz Tough and Grand Prix. But
the web keys.
that trial, as it stands, the way it looks at the moment, under Matt's maintenance, which is extremely high level, like to give you an idea of how much nitrogen he puts on, it would probably be double to triple what any fanatic would ever put on. Because he
apart from Justin Fraser,
he's up at
He's around the 5 kgs.
5 to 6, yeah. And
wow.
But then even more in potassium front. So Santarena looks really good.
Yeah.
AgriDark looks quite good. Tiff Tough look quite good.
Yeah.
And they all have their minute differences in terms of colour. In terms of what's the most overrated, no, I'm going to go out and say it. Like I actually think it's totally pertaining to growth rate of the grass and rhizome beneath rhizome biomass. I actually think things like Grand Prix and Oztough were overrated for what they are. I personally had a Grand Prix back lawn, and I found we talked about oversowing. Yeah. We talked about oversowing before. We talked about oversowing, and when you talk about like the complete package for couch, probably the biggest thing that like really narrows it down is rhizome biomass and speed to recover, because that's what you want. Those were just too slow to recover. They had an okay rhizome biomass. Some of the more rhizomatous grasses, while they don't look very good on the surface, once you start imposing wear on them and ripping them up and putting scrums on them and things, they actually perform really well. And surprisingly, things like the common wintergreen, the hybrids aren't as rhizomatous. So your Santarena, your Tiff Tough. Tiff Tough's probably moderate, like medium in terms of rhizome, and that's probably where it gets its drought tolerance from. But some of your more common couches are extremely rhizomatous. And they actually, in terms of performance, like if you drought stress them, wear them, frost stress them, all those kinds of things, they're probably massively underrated.
Johnny Bertrand, we can absolutely start
a
carpet grass appreciation society.
Mate, if I could have it, I would.
I love it.
Can I tell
It
you,
cuts so well with a cylinder.
Can I tell you one of my deepest, darkest secrets?
Yes.
So, I'm redoing my lawn at the moment, and I was so close to plugging the whole thing with carpet grass. Like I was this close. And I've got these photos. I think I've put them on the Fanatics there 3 years ago.
Is that why you're in my front yard over the other side of the
Over
fence
there.
where
Yeah.
it's all carpet grass?
Absolutely froth on that.
I love,
Mate,
I love carpet grass.
When I
It-
go to Cairns to
mate,
see
it
my
just-
uncle, his lawn
It
is
loves
all
adversity.
carpet and it
Yeah.
is epic.
It
It's
loves
hard to
adversity.
stop.
Loves it.
Yeah. But
So
yeah,
yes, Johnny, we can definitely get around that, and you can run the page because we've got too much on.
Yeah. I don't know, like.
Listening to the gurus, I think burn the horn.
Ah,
Ben, you don't
hey,
understand.
hey,
You
hey.
don't understand. We've been here for hours.
Grab the big horn.
Yeah.
I'll find that photo actually. It's like a checkerboard of like paver, carpet grass, paver. It's amazing, and it's cut at like bed level. Like it must be like 3 mil or something.
Mint.
It's unbelievable.
Mint.
Sweet. You got any questions there, Gibbo?
No, I've been answering them on the text line as we go. But people are talking about size of cylinder mowers. How big should I, like, what's a good cylinder mower for 120 squares? Is it 20 inch?
26 inch?
Yeah, that's right. 20 inch cylinder mower or a 25 inch cut, which is preferred, bigger and better. Basically, like I said, too big of a cylinder mower can be a pain in a small yard.
Especially
Going around the edges, unless you've got
Yeah.
split roller.
and it wears the edges as well. You look at the championship just gone, when they mow greens, they actually put wooden boards down on all the surrounds.
Mm.
So when they turn, they're not wearing the edges out. If you have a massive mower with heaps of weight,
Well, they go off the green down
Yeah.
the collar, turn around and come
and the
back over.
growth rate of your grass isn't quick enough, you'll find that like your middle of the lawn will be okay, but on the edges where you're turning all the time and you do your
I get
surround
that.
laps,
I get that.
Absolutely
With the fence
smash it.
lines, big time.
Sweet. Oh, I've got
One that doesn't run off the trailer. Hey, Lenny.
what?
A
A cylinder mower.
yeah, one that doesn't run off the trailer. Hey, Lenny. That's a shot at the people that stole your stuff, I think.
Oh yeah, but that was a scarifier and an aerator.
Mm.
That's the old part. That's
Yeah.
the old days. If you saw during the week when we were famous on TV, Gibbo,
Yeah.
uh,
Tracy Grimshaw eat your heart out.
I've got that was they rang us and I was like, oh. Hi, it's Phoebe from the Current Affair. I was like,
We're
oh.
gonna talk to you about a lawn cult.
What did I do? What's going on?
Even until it went to air, I was like, is this really just...
We're just
like,
going to get stitched up here.
is this an intervention for my neighbours just saying, stop mowing every second day?
Well,
We're
Could have
serious.
been
I
that
was-
massive mower burnout I did.
I seriously thought they were going to cheer you up, like this positive
So-
story, come and film you, and then we all sit down and watch it on Saturday night, and it's just this, like you just get thrown under the
Oh,
bus. These people are psychotic.
Anyway, so Jared, that was awesome. Really appreciate what they did for us. The Fanatics themselves, I think we gained 5,000 members in about 5 minutes.
Mm.
I've got Dollar Spot in my hybrid green.
I want as many
Yeah.
dollars as you've got spots.
Again. So I bought, can you grab it, give it?
What's that?
It's,
Oh.
yeah, it's called Tridem, Tridim, Tridem, is it? Tridem?
Yep.
That's
Fungicide?
what I'm
Active
going to
ingredient?
use.
Active.
You read it, Wally. I've got no chance.
Trimetadol.
That's what I'm using. That's from Campbell Chemicals. That's
Tried.
I bought
Tried.
that. And that's what I'm going to
Dominal.
use to try and combat it.
Group 3 fungicide. It's listed on label for Dollar Spot in here, and it's probably one of the better approaches.
So Nadeem, that works for Campbell Chemicals, is not just a lawn nut. He's also an F1 freak, and Lenny and I and
We're a
Nadeem
chat group.
bond over
Yeah.
F1 24/7.
The,
It's pretty good.
Ryegrass will come up the Dollar Spot. Yes, it will.
Yes, it will.
Yes, it will.
Yes,
But I think
it
with the
will.
amount I'm going to pummel onto it.
Underrated too. Like when you asked about grass before, like you'll generally find this kind of weather, this cloudy weather that we get in Brisbane. You also get it in Sydney. And in fact, Sydney's probably overtaken Brisbane for annual rainfall.
This year, has
Yeah,
or
or yeah, historically now
Fuck,
as well.
right.
So we've gotten drier and they've gotten wetter. You'll tend to find that those kinds of grasses do struggle disease-wise. That like we do have different climates to where those grasses are from. You know, Agridark was a chance selection in southern China. Tif Tuff, he was bred at Tifton in Georgia. You know, some of these grasses bring them into another environment. They try to adapt. They may not be fully adaptable.
They use Agridark in the stadiums in Sydney.
Yeah.
because they
Well, that handle's
Feel-
probably a bit lower light.
yeah, they
And-
feel that it gives it a better longevity into the season. I suppose they get
Probably
better
a-
performance out of it.
And you look at southern China, right? So it's bloody humid and hot like this,
Anthony Davis.
and then it's
Trucker.
it's got
Yeah,
cloud
up the
cover.
F1.
It's probably got cloud cover for 4 or 5 months of the year and smog, so lower light, and then it snows for
Yeah,
the other
ages.
part of the year. So
Yeah.
like,
Clicked on here. Go Lewis and Mercedes. I've just banned him.
Just banning.
oh,
Yeah, blocked.
Simon Rice is in the house apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been
Drygrass.
throwing comments for days.
That's his bloody solution to everything, isn't
Yeah.
All across the world.
it? Simon Rye.
Jeff Tinker.
Right, RYCE.
Any tips on bringing your patch of lawn back to life after a vehicle has been parked on it for a long
Aerate.
period of time?
Actually,
Probably need to aerate it, but I think just getting a bit of sunlight on it, it'll.
I saw those grass
Just
Tech cells
depends
as
whether
well.
it's compaction or dead.
Oh,
like
he
when I
look-
had the camper trailer parked on my lawn the other
He
day.
lives in central Queensland, so he's probably got 30 vehicles that are broken down over the years.
Yeah.
His whole family's collection that I've just
Of
updated
shooting
on.
cars.
Yeah.
I used to work with Jeff in the coal mines up north. He's a
Yeah,
champion bloke, absolute champion bloke.
Anthony's also a top bloke.
Yeah, well, I've been to his
So
place.
who's the allegiance to? Broncos or Cowboys? Or like the Bombers or the Dolphins? Who's
And
the
Jeff Tinker, have a look at his profile picture.
Yeah.
If that's not Broncos, I'm not his.
Oh,
he
love
lives,
it.
He
Yeah.
lives and breathes the Broncos.
On you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Up the Bronx.
Come on the
lads.
Tigers.
Come on, yeah. Yeah, they're down.
So yeah, this year in the Formula One, I am dead set supporting.
We're going pure orange, aren't we?
We're going orange, yeah. We're
Orange Staminade, orange F1 cars,
Yeah, we
orange
just,
everything.
pretty much anything that Dan Ricciardo drives, I'm
Yeah.
supporting it. That's
Yeah.
it. Simple.
And
It's
he's
not
he's the boy.
Mercedes.
Are you going to start drinking that red wine that he's backing now as well?
Absolutely.
Oh,
No.
I
Alcohol.
don't even know what it is.
That's alcohol. I'm drinking it.
That smooth, refreshing drink.
TR3, that's it. That's it,
He's
right.
not allowed to.
Sweet. All right, well, we might wrap it up there, and we'll be back with this in probably 2 weeks. 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'll be
Seems
around.
about right.
Yeah.
Seems about right. So
Pre-Easter.
Pre-Easter, yeah.
Pre-Easter chat.
We'll talk about Easter bunnies and stuff. Oh, hi Michelle. She's just
Oh,
finally done. Under
she
Ollie
won't
right
involve till
in.
now, hey?
Sweet. So if there's any final questions,
Boys, you have to do a shoey to end the show. Dan Ricardo. If I had a beer, I would, but I don't. Unfortunately. Lenny doesn't drink anymore, so I've got to be
Well, I
one
bought
of
new
his.
boots today. I bought new work boots today, so they're not
McLarens.
Not
I
that
might have
dirty.
to talk to some microbreweries and get some fanatics.
Oz LF
beer.
Melbourne trip in
Boys.
November for the F1. Anthony, we're on.
We're on.
Ricey meet us there.
Oh,
If
give
we
us a
could-
turn.
If we can, I think I'm going to the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show
That got canned though, I think.
for 21.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going.
I think it did. I don't know.
I'm not going to that.
Double check. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not going to that, man.
Yeah. But if I can go to the F1, I'll be going because I missed out on
Should we
Bathurst last year.
stabilise that?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
No.
crook. That would be crook. But I never step away from each other.
Don't forget.
Pass me that bomb.
the giant bomb in the corner.
It's going down. real
Don't drink
quick.
anything in this shit.
No, apart from the Staminade.
Yeah. You're lucky you don't have a 3-year-old that just drinks and puts anything in his mouth.
No,
Oh,
we
good.
do. Sweet. My little bloke, when he was, he picked a chili off a bush.
Kyne's done it. Kyne's doing it.
And
Oh.
has never put anything in his mouth.
Kyle
since
knows
that he
blueberries are
wasn't-
good, red chili's not so. You learned that early.
Good, bad
10 years,
luck.
10 years on,
Yeah.
Finn doesn't need anything spicy still.
All right.
Barbecue sauce is about as spicy.
I have a mate like that. Won't even have pepper.
What
on
about
his steak.
spicy red? That stuff is like God's gift to
It is.
tomato
It is.
sauce.
Yeah, I like it. I like
It's
it.
up there. It's up there.
We actually had it on the nachos, believe it or not.
Yeah. Oh, that was salsa, I think. It was salsa.
It was nice, whatever it was.
Good.
All right.
Nachos were good.
The Avalon Air Show is better than the F1. Lulu Co.
Ban them.
Yeah, you're blocked.
You
Set up a stall at the F1 and we'll visit you there. But if you're in a McLaren shirt, Clint, we'll run the other way. All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
I've
all
got
right.
kids and a family to get home.
So,
I'm fed. Thank you very much, Shell, for the nachos. They were
yeah, so
delicious.
thank you very much for
Delightful.
hanging around and watching and all the stuff. Quinn sending me private messages. Is the lie meant to be in the group? Yeah. Are we not in the group?
Oh, imagine.
No, we're not. I don't think so. We should be.
Did
Doesn't
you
matter.
not put it on the
Oh,
group?
I don't know. Anyway,
We'll
we're on
just post the
YouTube.
video back in there.
Yeah, all good.
All right, there's 22 people watching on YouTube. So,
All right. So that's us. We're done.
all right, adios
See you in
amigos.
2 weeks.
Thanks,
Laters.
Go and turn us off.
Leave me hanging.
Paul. How do I?
Well, you need to get off your bum and walk
That's
over
hard for me.
and press stop.
Big unit. How are we stopping this?
I don't know. Just press
Finish.
Finish.
And this one, I don't know how to stop this one. I don't want to break Lenny's phone.